The NBA play-in tournament kicks off tonight as the New Orleans Pelicans play host to the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors travel to Sacramento to take on the Kings. Now, I won't lie, my opinion on the play-in tournament has changed a lot over the years.
We end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the playoff, whatever that thing is, whoever came up with that need to be fired. But whatever.
It was first introduced after the COVID season where they went to the bubble. The very next year they introduced a plan which basically gives the 9 and 10 seeds of each conference like a last-ditch effort to try to make the playoffs. Now originally I didn't like this because it kind of felt like mediocre teams like the Bulls or the Hawks kind of got a chance to sneak in the playoffs if they have like a 1 or 2 game sample size where they win. And teams like, let's say, the Pelicans, who won basically 50 games this season, still technically could miss the playoffs even though they were a top 8 seed throughout the entire season. So I thought that was a little bit unfair. And I'd be lying if I didn't say originally it kind of felt like it was Adam Silver's way of making sure LeBron always kind of could find his way in the playoffs. And I'm a Lakers fan. But I can't deny it has added a lot of excitement to the last month of the season. Like in the early 2000s, sometimes with basically 10 games still to go, we already knew who the 1 through 8 was. And it felt like all of those games just didn't matter really. So now it feels like every game towards the end of the season still has relevance and it still adds a little excitement to the season. So I gotta give it up. Adam kind of did his thing with this one. So now the first matchup. So the New Orleans Pelicans are going to take on the Lakers. So basically what happens is 1 through 6 for each conference is already set, 1 through 6 seeds. So the last 4 teams, 7 through 10, are fighting for that 7 and 8 seed. So the 7 seed plays the 8 seed, and the winner of that becomes the 7 seed. And then the loser of the 7-8 plays the winner of the 9-10. The 9-10 play, the loser is automatically out, and the winner of that has to play the loser of the 7-8. So basically the 9-10 seed, the Kings or the Warriors, are going to have to win 2 games to try to make the playoffs and become the 8 seed. So let's start with the Pelicans versus the Warriors, the 7 and 8. The Pelicans are going to win this game. They're going to become the 7 seed. Now, I'm not going to flat out say that the Lakers are going to tank this game, but I will say that the winner of this game becomes the 7 seed, and their first round matchup is against the Denver Nuggets. And no one in the West in their right mind right now wants to play the Denver Nuggets, especially in the first round. Now, Anthony Davis, I think, is going to sit out with his back spasms. LeBron might even sit out. I think the Pelicans are going to be able to win this game. And I think that the Lakers feel confident that they can go into that second matchup against either the Kings or the Warriors and still have a good chance to win and become that 8 seed. And instead of playing the Denver Nuggets in the first round, they're going to play the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. So I don't think the Pelicans can really afford to take that risk of, oh, we're trying to duck a certain team so we can try to sneak into a different spot. I think the Lakers, led by LeBron and a lot of veteran guys who have been there, done that, AD has even won a ring already, I think that they feel more confident that they could kind of get away with this tactic. So I think that the Pelicans are going to win this game against the Lakers tonight and become the 7th seed in the NBA playoffs. Now let's focus on before we get into the next prediction, let's focus on the Warriors versus the Kings, the 9-10 matchup. This is going to be a home game for the Kings. The Warriors and the Kings played 4 times this season. They split the season series 2-2. I think that the Warriors are going to pull this out. I think it'll be a close game. 3 of their 4 games this season have been decided by 3 or fewer points. So pretty evenly matched when you think about it. But I think that missing Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, their starting shooting guard and 6-man, is going to be a big detriment to the Kings. And then the Warriors have just been there and done all of that time after time. Steph could go for another 50-piece on them like he did against them last year in Game 7. I just think that the Warriors are going to find a way to pull this one out and be able to move in advance to play in that second game for the potential 8 seed. Now, in this scenario, you are potentially looking at a LeBron versus Steph matchup. I'm sorry to break it to y'all, they're both not going to make the playoffs. One might make it, but they're both not getting in. I don't see any scenario where both of them get in regardless. So in this scenario, we're looking at the Lakers and the Warriors playing for that 8th and final play-in spot. And if that were to happen, I think that the Lakers will pull it out. I know that the Warriors have won the season series 3-1 against them. I just feel like in a one-game take-all, I can't bet against the Lakers. I feel like they have been the better team all season. I feel like they're going to have the best player on the court, whether you feel like that is LeBron or AD. Steph is up there, but I feel like just this season, I just feel like the Lakers are a more complete unit. The Warriors, we look at them as the dynasty, as an all-time great dynasty, and they are. I just feel like right now, 1 through 15, the Lakers just have a slightly better roster. D'Lo is shooting like a career high from 3. You know Austin Reeves is going to come to play. Anthony Davis is going to dominate the paint. Like, I just see Draymond fouling out. Is Clay really the same guy he used to be? I just feel like the Lakers are an overall better team, and I think they'll pull it out. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm seeing the Pelicans win tonight against the Lakers. They become the 7th seed. The Warriors beat the Kings, and in the final matchup for the 8th seed, I'm going to take the Lakers over the Warriors. So that's how I'm looking at it. And the Lakers will be the 8th seed, taking on the Thunder as the number 1 seed. So let's slide on over to the East. We got the 7th seed Philadelphia 76ers taking on the 8th seed Miami Heat. And then we got the 9 seed Chicago Bulls playing host to the 10 seed Atlanta Hawks. Now, let's start with the 7-8 seed, Miami Heat versus 76ers. Now, this is going to be a good game. The winner of this becomes the 7th seed and takes on the New York Knicks. So it's going to be completely different from the West, in which both teams are kind of like, oh, we don't really want to play the defending champ Denver Nuggets. I think both teams, the Miami Heat and the 76ers, would love to play the New York Knicks in the first round. Now, don't get me wrong, Jalen Brunson's been hooping. He deserves to be in the MVP conversation. But minus their second star, Julius Randle, I don't know if I have the utmost faith in them to win a playoff series, especially if they were to play the 76ers where they don't have their big men to really stop Joel Embiid. So in this 7-8 matchup, I am going to take the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid's come back from injury a lot better than I expected. He seems to not really have missed a step. The 76ers are a great home team, and I think the Miami Heat just need something about them. It's like they don't actually snap into that super special team that we know until the playoffs actually start. So I just kind of see them losing this game on the road to the Philadelphia 76ers. I think the 76ers will be the 7th seed. Now, the Chicago Bulls versus the Atlanta Hawks, the 9-10 matchup, man, this is what I mean. This is my original feeling of like, this shouldn't matter. I think I'm going to take the Atlanta Hawks. I think Trae Young at this point is the best player on the court between those two teams. I like DeJounte Murray too. I think he's a gamer. I just feel like the Chicago Bulls don't even want, like when I watch them play, I don't even see any like enthusiasm to try to win games. Like I just feel like they just found themselves in the 9th seed because the East has a lot of bottom feeder teams, the Hornets, the Pistons, the Wizards. They just have so many bottom feeder teams that they just found themselves in the 9th seed based on talent. So I think the Hawks will probably win this game, and then they'll take on the Miami Heat for the 8th seed, and I think Miami will obviously win that game and become the 8th seed. And I don't think Miami has an issue with that. I don't think Miami is particularly ducking any team in the first round. In fact, they beat the Boston Celtics last year. Now, that's not the exact same Boston Celtics team they'll be taking on this year. Obviously, they added Porzingis, Jrue Holiday, and they've shifted things up a little bit. But I don't think the Miami Heat fear any team in the East at all. So I think they'll be perfectly fine being that 8th seed and taking on the Boston Celtics in the first round. So those are my predictions for the NBA play-in tournament. Y'all let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to get in? Who do you want to see get in? Do you think any of these play-in teams have a chance of making like a deep playoff run at all? Or are all of these teams destined to lose in the first round regardless? Thanks for rocking out with me. It's your host, Zoe. This is The Last Word, and we're out. Thank you for watching another episode of The Last Word. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below so you're not missing out on any of the new content I drop on the channel. Love.